The US President has chaired the inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace, the international group that he convened that had the initial aim of rebuilding Gaza. It was first proposed in last year's Gaza peace plan, and it's met for the first time in Washington today. Our America's editor, John Lyons, is in DC. Hi there, John. What did we learn from this meeting today?
Well, Lorna, what we learned is that this is very much about Donald Trump. We still don't know the central question, in my view, which is this going to genuinely be a force for global good and global peace, as the name suggests, or is it a vanity project for Donald Trump? I think that's a reasonable question, given the number of buildings and things here like the Kennedy Center. Even the meeting today was held in what used to be the Institute for Peace. It's now the Donald Trump Institute for Peace. He's renamed the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center. So this is now the Board of Peace, which will be essentially Donald Trump's version. Many people think it's a way of him trying to essentially take control of what the United Nations traditionally has done. But we learnt it was very much about Donald Trump. It was an extraordinary speech where he talked about the fact he hadn't won the Nobel Prize, and he basically should have. And he said, I don't care about prizes, but then went on to talk about how he didn't win the Nobel, but he did actually get awarded the first ever FIFA Peace Prize, the soccer organisation, of all organisations giving peace prizes, the FIFA bureaucracy. So for a man who's not interested in prizes, and he said that he didn't ask for this building to be in his name. And so with Donald Trump, there's always that concern. Is it about him? Is it about his ego? Is it about his vanity? Or has he come up with a brilliant idea? And in fairness, in defence of his vision, to have all of these countries in the same room, these are not countries that would normally be together. These are not countries that often have a voice. And the fact of them being in the same room, surely at a time of global unrest, is a good thing. So I think there are good things to this Board of Peace, but we still don't yet know what the real impact of it will be.
Who are they then, John? Who was in the room?
Well, who's not a member, and you have to pay $1 billion in US dollars to become a permanent member of this. No one really knows where that money's going to go and exactly what it's going to be used for, and Donald Trump's going to be the chair in perpetuity, even if he's not president. But people who were in the room were countries like Belarus, Saudi Arabia, Paraguay, Kazakhstan. These are, as I say, these are a lot of countries that aren't normally able to get influence. And so for me, the question is, I'm still wondering, is this a good thing? Surely to have them all in the same room is a good thing to have dialogue. If Ukraine and Russia were in the same room, part of the same team, at least part of the same meeting, that would be a good thing. Or is it simply a way of some of these countries buying access to the US president? So if you're from one of these countries like Belarus, who is working with Russia in its war against Ukraine, is facilitating Russia to be killing civilians in huge numbers in Ukraine. So they're at the table. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Can they pay $1 billion and get access to the president in a way they wouldn't normally otherwise?
Donald Trump also used the meeting to talk about Iran, America's preparedness, and about making a deal over its nuclear program. What did he say, John?
Well, yes, Lorna, we've been talking about this now for some time on the news channel, and, clearly the Americans have built up a massive firepower, the largest in the Middle East since the Gulf War with the USS Abraham Lincoln. So the expectations are still there that there could be military action against Iran. That's a strong possibility. In fact, I think it's more likely than not. Today, Donald Trump really for the first time gave a deadline, saying that, and his exact quote was, you're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 years whether or not, over the next probably 10 days, whether or not there will be, what will happen there. And he said bad things will happen if the Iranians don't agree to a nuclear deal. Let's have a listen to what President Trump said.
Cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region, and they must make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen if it doesn't.
So the clock is very much ticking when it comes to Iran.